Hello, all. If you're watching this, you and me are meant to be, and may God go before you, behind you, and all around you, and give you peace. I wanted to talk about the tariffs with China and all of that that's going on, and this has all happened before. This is not new. This is nothing new. When people do the tariff mess all the time and think that and really it doesn't really matter. If anything, it will benefit America in the grand scheme of things. But essentially, if people continue to be confused about these things, America is a cash cow. America buys, doesn't really sell. We buy everybody's stuff. We don't really sell too much of anything aside of military stuff, a few agricultural things. We buy, we don't really sell. So all the other countries around the world sell us their stuff, mainly China and their, craftsmen stuff, which isn't really hard for anybody to do or learn. It's a learned skill. It's nothing that anybody can't pick up and learn and excel at. It's not. None of it is. And especially now that we have machines and technology and all these other things, it's not. But yeah, that's all the tariff is. All the tariff is we're selling you stuff. You have to buy it for a high price because we're going to sell it to you. That's really, the simplest way of putting it. Simplest way. So the only people who are really crying about tariffs are the investors and companies that have to have their products imported. So yes, America does have to pay, but who? The large corporations, the investors, they have to pay. They have a company that wants to make clothes or whatever it is. Whatever it is. They have clothes, technology, whatever it is, an American company has it. But they want to pay for cheap labor in another country to make it for cheap and then turn around and sell it back to America for 1,000x more of what it really costs. So Americans can buy it. And Trump was saying, like, yeah, well, if you want to continue to do that, you're going to have to pay a lot more to have your product shipped back to you once they finish making it. That's all it is. That's all it is. And that's all there is to say about it, really. And the reason why this is really a good thing is it calls into negotiations with these countries, not just for the trade war, which is the big headline of it all, but for other things that they don't tell us that is actually really going on. As far as with China, I think right now there's a pause, like a 90-day pause on it. But it's really to negotiate other things, not just simply, world trade, economic goods, all that crap. It also has to do with war. It has to do with a whole other things. And right now, um, by the Spirit of God, China is peaking. China is peaking and will for a year or two, so more. They're peaking in the grand design of things. If I'm gonna put it that way, in the grand design of things, they're peaking. And America is going to get a little bit of a love tap on the wrist, But don't be afraid. America is not going to be in too bad of a shape. Will America fall? Yes, but not is. We'll survive. Okay, we're gonna survive. That's just, by God's Spirit telling me, things. But yeah, that's all it is. And America is really in a bad way. Is like I said in another video, Trump is really just a status quo disruptor, which is what's needed. No hand of man has been able to touch this man. And it is for divine purpose to get a lot of the bureaucracy out of the way. And it's really, Trump is just manufacturing a a problem, manufacturing problems to force the hands of those that are in the way. It's just he's just forcing the hand because he's so erratic and sporadic in what he does and then so volatile. It's hard to pinpoint what what's coming next with him, which is a good thing for America. Why? Because it makes people move. It makes people do things differently. Sorry, in Dallas, you're gonna hear a train. But anyway, it's going to make people, move differently, quickly. I don't know if the next one's gonna come in a few minutes. I hope not, but it usually does. Either way, so when you hear people saying like this, that this is going to cost this, and this, and we don't make anything here. Yeah, by design. We're a cash cow. All we do is buy. All we do is consume. So a lot of our problems could be solved if we, would invest in ourselves instead of buying from everybody else. A lot of our problems would be solved because we would have jobs that require very little bit of effort and skilled labor, if you want to call it that, skilled labor, of making things. It would solve a lot of our income inequality problems, homeless problems, all of these things. It would, shorten the whole need for welfare and subsidies and farms. Like we have to pay our farmers here in America to not produce because we have the ability to feed ourselves here in America. We really do. But we would rather buy from another place to import food in which we already have because it simply is cheap. This is all talking points, all things that we've all heard throughout our lives. Like everything that most of us have on and own is from China, just period. Whether it's quote unquote high end, which it isn't. I don't know why this is such a shock to people. It was always that. You've been told all your life that everything comes from China. You've been told that all your life. It's just, I guess, people were in drinking the Kool-Aid in a daze and a haze of what's really going on. It's always been that. I'm not that old, but even I knew that. And I'm not that smart, but I know these simple concepts and truths about what really goes on in America. I guess it's a shock to those who can been drinking the Kool-Aid and have no real wisdom or spiritual guidance to understand what's really going on and how America really does work. And yes, we need to bring back manufacturing. We need to start investing in ourselves, and don't believe them when they say it will take years for this. No, it don't. Do not believe that. That is a lie. It takes nothing for those jobs to come back and begin to implement. We have a lot of problems, education being one. The only issue is that we have to pay to be educated for stuff that can simply just be taught and improve each other's lives and enrich each other's lives more beneficially than you running into debt to go learn something that someone can just simply show you and be done with it. Because if people really want you to know something, they're going to tell you. They're going to teach it to you if they want you bad enough. They don't want Americans bad enough. They don't want to pay us what we're worth enough. So they'll just do the cop out for many years, decades of this for and just for $1. But hopefully, some of that will be tapered off. I don't know if Trump is going to be able to do this. God willing, he does, and it brings, a change about American society in a good way. Stop putting roadblocks in front of the American people. We're all human beings across this planet. No one is really smarter or better than anybody else. It's just in America we have a lot of red tape, a lot of roadblocks stopping any real progress for the average person. Which is why you have people complaining about the cost of everything and they can't afford housing and all of this kind of stuff. Well, At some point, we gotta stop being always being the buyer, stop being consumers, and start being more of self-sufficient producers of our own. Just American society in general. Everything we have to go buy from somebody else. But then they turn around and tell you to be self-sufficient. You see the little mind trickery game that they keep playing with American people. It's always good to be self-sufficient, and it's always good to know things. It's just the American society for too long has become complacent and comfortable with just shoving money at things and instant gratification, shoving money at things, and you know, and it's in all aspects of American life. It just is, which is why people run over here and snicker and snoodle and looking at you crazy and dumb by how you choosing to do things. America is one of the greatest countries in the world to live in. It is, period. But that doesn't mean that we can't improve and do better and be self-sustaining. The next pandemic that comes around, you saw how quick it took them to get the vaccine out. No time at all. Quick story. Like I live in the poor sides of Dallas here in Texas. You know which area I'm talking about if you live down here. And they recently repaved the road right by my house. Repaved the road, all nice and black and pretty. But before this, it was really raggedy and ran down, and you tearing up your tire. And I was on the bus, and me and the bus driver having a conversation about this. And she said it didn't take them no time at all to put this up, but it's been like that for 20 plus years. And I'm like, yeah, that just goes to show you how they lying. These companies, these investors, the bureaucracy and excuses and reasons as to why things are in which they are usually bull. If they want it bad enough, they will throw it up quick, fast, in a hurry. Because it was done in within a week. In a week, they busted up the road, scraped it off, put it back down, set it, put it up, put it back down, and it was all gravy. In a week's time. In a week's time, they did it. So, yeah, don't believe these people when they say these things. It can be done, and it can be done quick, fast, in a hurry if they're hurting bad enough to do it. You got to make people unfortunately, feel pain in their pocketbook before real change happens. It has to be so disruptive that you have to force people's hands these days to really get any real progress done. I'm assuming that's what Trump is really doing with all of this, is just manufacturing, which is what they already do on Wall Street anyway, which is why they can, you know, even put out a little rumor and the stock market goes up and down in a flash. Just giving them time to sell and buy quickly because they were so caught off guard by, the recent developments and everything crashed and all this kind of stuff. It's all manufactured nonsense. It's just a bunch of people lying and being greedy. So don't ever accept that you have to wait for things. Don't ever accept that, it just can't be done. It can all be done. It can all be done by God's grace, authority, and power. Anything under the sun can be done. So don't ever take that from people. Always, open your mouth, say what you want, and if you can't get it, or people aren't helping or aren't letting you, you know, find a way to do it, move around, because all these things can happen. So, sorry, I know it's a pretty long video. I was kind of talking a little long about a multitude of things, but hopefully I got my point across with all this, tariff mess, and how America just needs to pony up and start doing for self instead of being the world's cash cow. And all we do is buy. All we do is have our hands and mouth open, saying, gimme. We need to stop that. We don't teach our children that. It's a very basic concept. But all right, be safe, be kind, be wise. Bye bye.